I guess can you go?
Just, your overall thoughts on the season, the month that Ashton Jeanty has had as a running back coach. You've been around some good ones. How are you putting this into perspective?
We're just continuing to work and get better at everything, man. But it's been pretty special to go out there and watch him work, considering the circumstances. We knew once George kind of went down that his role was going to increase, but he embraced it, and he's been doing a really good job every day.
How is he able to break tackles so well?
I think it's just a combination of definitely number one is want to, but what he does in the weight room and building that confidence within his body. Like, you can see his body, the body armor, what he squats, what he's able to bench and power clean. And so that builds the confidence in the offseason to come in and be able to run that physical.
You guys were talking about his snap count. Do you remember how many plays he was on the field for?
This past game?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly. I think it was like 54.
Okay, is that the spot where you guys want him, right around there?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were running the ball a lot, so our play count wasn't too high. I think we ran 65 plays last game, so it was right at where we wanted it.
With him, he's going to be featured, obviously, in the offense heavily. Like, how do you make sure he makes it to November, December?
There's definitely, he has to do a good job himself with his body maintenance and getting in there with the training room and the trainers and making sure he's doing all that type of stuff. But we got to find creative ways in practice to be able to, limit his reps, get him in there when he needs to, but still keep his timing and everything right. So it's kind of that happy medium, but we don't want him just to stop practicing, but we got to make sure we keep his legs fresh.
Do you notice, as he becomes more known and more of a feature part of the offense, have teams defend him differently?
I really haven't seen it too much. Throughout the week of practice, you kind of game plan them and you kind of see what they're doing. But it's been pretty consistent with what they've been doing that we've seen on film.
I don't know, the offensive line and stuff. A lot of those plays, it seemed like he was just running through the ocean. It wasn't super tough, but then he breaks the cut. How impressed were you with the tight ends, the offensive line, of just creating holes for him?
Super impressed. And then that goes to Coach Potter and Coach Keene as well. They do a really good job designing our run game plan every single week and getting everybody really to just buy into it. And then by the end of the week, we've seen all the looks and everything that we need to see. And so everybody's really confident in their assignments and what we have to get done.
The last 3 weeks, there's been a different lineup on that line. Just what's that depth like for you guys, and how's that make your guys' job, the running back jobs, easier?
Well, whenever you get lanes like that, it definitely creates some confidence in you running the ball, being able to pressure tracks, get vertical, and do those things. But it's really a testament, man, to Coach Keene and Coach Potter. Like, they're just getting those guys ready, and then obviously the O-line, those guys are locked in. They know exactly what we're trying to get done. They know the looks, and then they're able to execute when we get out there on Saturday.
What do you see when you look at Memphis' defense as a whole? What do you think is going to be the greatest challenge it's facing?
Every level of this defense is athletic. Their D-line super athletic. They got a really good rush in. Their backers, they fly around. They're a little bit thicker than some of the backers we've seen. And then the DBs do a really good job of creating turnovers. Throughout I think the Arkansas State game, they had 3 turnovers, and that really hurt Arkansas State. And like we've got a big emphasis on ball security, and so that's not something that we're going to stop. We're just going to keep trying to ramp that up and have a heightened awareness to the ball security to make sure that we're still staying explosive but carrying the ball properly.
Has the offense changed, I guess, in the last 3 weeks since George went down week 1?
Probably some packages that we thought we were going to feature more.
Yeah.
We've kind of toned them down a little bit, especially with the 2-backs. But we haven't changed it too much. Conceptually, it's still the same things, but we have changed the formations just a little bit.
What are the challenges in managing Ashton's workload each week? Not in the game, but everything else.
With managing him, I'm getting other guys reps, and so it's helping KD and Breezy still continue to grow, and then hopefully I'll get a couple more guys back as these weeks progress. Hopefully get T. Crow back, and then obviously get George back as well.
I think we, on the outside, kind of look at it and like, man, is this sustainable? Like, this guy is going to be, running the ball 25 times, catching it 10. Are we misguided in that? This is a young guy, like, you see him every day. Or is that kind of dumb for us to even question if it's sustainable?
I think we've seen it over time. Running backs be able to sustain this pace and have really good seasons, and even in college have 2-year runs where they, Bryce. Who else? Christian McCaffrey, Bryce Love. Ron Dane did it for 4 years. He's a little different body type, but I think it's definitely sustainable, but you just got to do your job and taking care of your body, and then preparing how you need to prepare, and then getting your rest. Like, sleep's a big factor in all that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know when George gets back. I mean, will it kind of go back to what your guys' plan was week one, or will things kind of have to be altered a little bit?
I mean, I think he'll be working back in, so
Yeah.
it's not like we can just throw him right back to the fire. So we got to make sure we get his wind back right. Got to make sure knock the rust off for football, because not playing, you're not going to come back and just be in the form that you were. And so definitely we're going to have to build him back up and build him back into the game plans and things like that. But it won't be like it was week one when he was fresh.
I think we asked you about the hurdles a couple weeks ago, and
Yeah.
we've seen a few more since then. Do you still kind of, when they happen, look at them in amazement, or?
I mean, there's some stuff he does in game where I definitely look at it in amazement sometimes. But I think the one last game was more out of necessity, just because somebody had went low, and I'm glad he didn't get his high off the ground on that one. But it was definitely an effective hurdle.
JMO, there hasn't been a Heisman finalist as a running back invited to the ceremony since 2017. That number shocked me today. Do you think maybe the values that the NFL is placing on the position might be trickling down a little bit into college football? Just as a guy who's an expert on the running back position, why do you think all this is?
I mean, I think just to be considered now, you got to be a complete back. And so kind of what we're seeing with Ash right now, he's able to catch the ball in the backfield, he's able to run it, and then he's doing a really good job blocking as well. And so I think you just have to put all those factors together, and then you'll start to see the running back position start to thrive again. But it's with the passing league, you got to be incorporated into the pass game a little bit more.
What's the most impressive thing you've seen him do in the last 8 months?
I want to say probably just coming to practice and practicing more consistently, because we already knew the ability was there.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing for him was just coming out every day with that work-like attitude. Because, when you're a young guy and you're first, he's coming off a really good freshman year, I think you have inconsistencies in practice. And then kind of working him through that's kind of helped his confidence a lot coming into game time, because he's starting to make more of those game-like plays in practice.
You talked to Kirby more this week?
I talked to him a little bit this week for sure. I think we all have. I mean, me, Coach Potter, Nate, Bush. I mean, we all know Kirby pretty well. So yeah, we definitely kind of picked his brain a little bit.
Sweet. Thank you.